I had $153,000 in student loan debt, $847 monthly payments I could barely afford, ramen for dinner 4 nights a week, and exactly 0 romantic prospects. I was a plus-size, tattooed, 35-year-old architectural preservationist who couldn't remember the last time a man looked at me like I was anything other than invisible. Then a 6'5" Minotaur CEO walked into my cramped office, looked at me like I was the most fascinating thing he'd ever seen, and said 5 words that would change everything.
I need your expertise, Miss Madison.
This is the story of how I went from broke and overlooked to engaged, to the most successful developer in 3 counties. But first, I had to stop believing I wasn't worth choosing. The coffee had gone cold an hour ago, but Olivia Madison hadn't noticed. She squinted through her black framed glasses at the computer screen, adjusting them on her nose as she tried to make sense of the budget spreadsheet that seemed determined to mock her attempts at financial responsibility. 35 years old, master's degree in architectural preservation, $153,000 in student loan debt, and subsisting on instant ramen. This wasn't quite the glamorous life she'd envisioned. She caught her reflection in the darkened window, round face framed by perpetually messy dark hair, the geometric tattoo on her left forearm peeking out from her rolled-up sleeve, her soft curves filling out her thrift store cardigan in ways that made finding professional clothes a nightmare. She'd given up on flattering cuts years ago. Comfort won every time. If a job's worth doing, it's worth doing well, her mother used to say. Well, she'd done the job well. And what had it gotten her? A cramped office in an underfunded historical society, a salary that barely covered her loan payments, and the certain knowledge that she'd be paying off that debt until retirement. The bell above the office door chimed, and she glanced up, fully prepared to give her usual speech about lack of funding. She was not prepared for 6.5 feet of impeccably tailored Minotaur to fill the doorway. Oh no. Her first coherent thought was that men like this didn't walk into her office. Ever. Her second thought was a desperate wish that she'd worn literally anything else today. The coffee-stained blouse suddenly felt tighter across her chest. Her thighs pressed against her desk chair, and she was acutely aware of the pencil stuck haphazardly in her hair. His horns, polished to a dark gleam, curved elegantly back from russet hair that looked artfully messy in a way that probably required professional styling. The charcoal suit fit him perfectly, tailored to accommodate his broad shoulders and powerful build, with the kind of craftsmanship that cost more than her monthly rent. His chest was broad, his waist narrow, and when he moved fully into the office, she could see the way his thighs strained slightly against the expensive fabric. When he removed his sunglasses, dark eyes swept the cramped office before landing on her, really landing on her. His gaze traveled from her face down to where her curves pressed against her desk, then back up, and something heated flickered in his expression. Margot felt her face flame. She wasn't used to being looked at like that, like she was something worth seeing. I was told this is where I'd find the person who decides whether or not my renovation plans get approved, he said, his voice a deep rumble that seemed to vibrate through her body and settle low in her belly. That would be me. She sat up straighter, painfully aware of every soft part of herself. Margot Chen, Associate Director of... Yes, I saw the title on the door. He stepped fully into the office, and suddenly the small space felt suffocating. He was so big, all solid muscle and confident presence, and she felt like she was taking up too much room, like her body was somehow in the way. Thorn Iron Ridge, I need your approval on the Morrison Building renovation. The Morrison Building. Margot's heart did a complicated maneuver. She'd been mourning that building for 2 years. Mr. Iron Ridge, I'm familiar with the property. She pulled up the relevant files, grateful for something to focus on, besides the way he seemed to consume all the oxygen in her tiny office. The last 3 proposals didn't meet our preservation standards. Which is why I'm here. He settled into the chair across from her desk, a chair that suddenly looked like dollhouse furniture under his massive frame. His knees had to angle awkwardly, his horns nearly brushing her ceiling, and she had a ridiculous urge to apologize for being poor enough that her office furniture couldn't accommodate him properly. I need someone who actually cares about these buildings to tell me what's required. His eyes stayed on her face as he spoke, but she could feel the weight of his attention like a physical thing, like he was seeing all of her, The parts she tried to hide, the softness she'd learned to armor with sarcasm and competence. You want to restore it properly. Her voice came out breathier than intended. I want to restore it perfectly. The intensity in those dark eyes caught her off guard. That building deserves better. I'm willing to do whatever it takes. Whatever it takes is expensive, Mr. Ironridge. Money isn't the issue. Getting it right is the issue. He leaned forward, and she caught a scent that made her dizzy. Cedar and leather, and something woodsy and masculine that made her want to lean closer. I need your expertise, Miss Madison. I'm told you're the best preservationist in 3 counties. She tried not to flush at the compliment. Failed spectacularly. I'm the only preservationist in 3 counties who isn't retired. The corner of his mouth twitched. Confidence. I like that. It's not confidence if it's true. She pulled out a notebook, acutely aware when her arm brushed against her breast, when she had to lean forward and felt her cardigan strain across her back. And he noticed. His eyes tracked the movement, darkened slightly, and when his gaze returned to hers, there was something there that made her skin feel too tight. He's just being polite, she told herself. Stop reading into things. What followed was the most intellectually stimulating conversation she'd experienced in years. Thorne Ironridge knew his stuff, and more than that, he listened when she talked, really listened, leaning forward with genuine interest, asking follow-up questions, making notes. The original moldings are buried under 6 layers of paint, she explained, sketching quickly. She'd always thought better with a pencil in her hand, including what I call the Puce incident of 1987. His laugh was a deep rumble that did things to her nervous system that were entirely unprofessional. The Puce incident? As she explained, gesturing with her tattooed arm. She caught him looking at the geometric patterns on her skin. His expression was appreciative, curious. And when she faltered, he prompted, keep going. I want to hear about the inspector who made contractors cry. By the time they'd been talking for an hour, Olivia had forgotten to be self-conscious. She was too caught up in his questions, in the way his eyes lit up when she explained architectural details, in the discovery that this intimidatingly attractive man actually cared about the same thing she did. I may have broken into the building a few times, she admitted, to document the original details. His eyebrows rose. You broke in? I prefer conducted unauthorized historical research. She met his eyes, refusing to be embarrassed. Someone needed to care, so I did it myself, on weekends, with a flashlight and complete disregard for my personal safety, according to my friend. Something shifted in his expression, softened. Someone has to fight for these buildings. Exactly. She smiled, and his eyes dropped to her mouth. The air between them changed, thickened. You don't pull punches, do you? His voice had gone lower, rougher. I can't afford to. Her heart was racing now. Half my job is managing expectations. And what should I expect from you, Miss Madison? The question felt loaded with meaning beyond preservation standards. Honesty, high standards, refusal to compromise on what matters. She held his gaze. Can you handle that? I think I can. His smile was devastating. In fact, I'm looking forward to it. He stood then, and she was reminded again of how much space he took up. How solid he was. How, when he reached into his jacket for a business card, she could see the play of muscle beneath his shirt. I'd like to hire you as a consultant, he said, outside your normal duties, your standard rate, whatever that is. She didn't have a standard rate. She'd never had the luxury. But she looked at this man, this impossibly attractive, successful, put-together man who'd spent an hour discussing load-bearing walls without once making her feel small or stupid or less than, and felt something dangerous bloom in her chest. Hope. I'd need to check for conflicts of interest, she managed. Of course. He was already heading for the door, moving with surprising grace for someone his size. But I hope you'll say yes, Miss Madison. I have a feeling this project needs you. After he left, Olivia sat in the sudden emptiness of her office and pressed her hands to her hot cheeks. Do not develop a crush on the client. Do not develop a crush on the hot Minotaur businessman who looked at you like you were the most fascinating thing in the room. Do not. Too late. She was so screwed. 2 weeks later, you're staring at your phone like it contains the secrets of the universe, Elena observed. I'm checking the time. You've checked it 6 times in 3 minutes. Elena's eyes narrowed. Oh my God, you're waiting for a text from him? The Minotaur, the hot one? I don't know what you're talking about. Olivia set her phone face down with more force than necessary. Mags, you've been different. You bought new clothes. You're wearing makeup. You just ordered a salad instead of the cheapest thing on the menu. So you're falling for him? Before Olivia could deny it, her phone buzzed. Running 10 minutes late. Don't start without me. Want to see your face when you notice what I had delivered. The smile took over her face before she could stop it. Oh, you've got it bad, Elena said, but her voice was kind. There's nothing to have. He's a client. A professional colleague who happens to be gorgeous, built like a dream, clearly into you. Stop. But Olivia was blushing, adjusting her glasses. We're just working together, right? And he texts about wanting to see your face in a completely professional context. It's about the project. Elena leaned back. Honey, when was the last time you let yourself have something good? Olivia thought about it. About always playing it safe. About shrinking herself to fit into spaces that were never quite big enough. About watching life happen to other people while she buried herself in work and debt and careful, practical decisions. I don't know, she admitted quietly. Then maybe it's time to find out. The chandelier. The surprise was a chandelier. The chandelier, the original from the Morrison Building's ballroom that she'd spent weeks trying to track down. How did you? She stared at the crate, then at Thorne, emotions swelling in her chest. This was in Massachusetts. The dealer said it wasn't for sale. Everything's for sale if you ask nicely enough. He was trying for casual, but she could see the pleased expression. I may have convinced him it deserved to come home. Thorne, her voice wobbled. She pressed her hands to her mouth, overwhelmed. This wasn't just expensive. This was thoughtful. This was him listening when she talked, remembering what mattered to her, taking action to make her vision real. Nobody had ever done something like this for her. You could say thank you, he said gently, and then tell me if this is the right one. She circled the crate, examining the crystal and bronze, her hands trembling as she traced decorative elements. It's perfect. It's absolutely perfect. Good. He stepped closer. Close enough that she could feel heat radiating from his body. Close enough to smell cedar and leather. I told you I was serious about doing this right. Olivia turned to face him, tilting her head back to meet his eyes. Why does this matter so much to you? Something vulnerable flickered across his face. My grandfather used to bring me here when I was a calf, before it closed. He moved to the windows. He'd worked on the renovation in the 50s. He loved this place. Said buildings like this were living history. His jaw worked. He died last year. Left me enough money to either expand my company or do something that would have made him proud. Oh, Olivia felt her carefully constructed walls crumbling like poorly mixed mortar. This wasn't just business. This was love, grief, memory. He would be proud, she said softly, moving to stand beside him. What you're doing here, it matters. He would have liked you. Thorne's voice was rough. You care about these places the way he did. They deserve love. Without thinking, she reached out and touched his arm. Just a light touch, meant to comfort. The moment her fingers made contact, electricity sparked between them. He looked down at her hand, then at her face, and something in his expression made her breath catch, made her acutely aware of how close they were standing, how much bigger he was than her, how if she leaned forward just slightly, her soft curves would press against his solid frame. Olivia. Her name and his deep voice did dangerous things to her. I need to tell you something. Her heart hammered against her ribs. Okay, I'm not very good at reading signals. My ex-wife used to complain that I was too focused on work. He turned to face her fully, and she had to crane her neck back. The size difference between them was dizzying. But I'm trying to pay attention now, and I hope that maybe you feel this too. Her voice stuck. This was it, the moment. I know you probably think I'm out of your league, he continued. And she almost laughed because how could he possibly think that? But Olivia, you're the most fascinating woman I've met in years. You break into buildings to document moldings. You fight for preservation standards. You care about things that matter. His hand came up to cup her face, his palm enormous against her cheek. And you make me want things I'd stopped letting myself want. Like what? She whispered. Like this. He bent down and kissed her. His lips were soft, gentle, asking permission even as they took. Margot melted into him, rising on her toes to meet him halfway. And when his arm came around her waist, so big his hand nearly spanned her back, she pressed closer, all her soft curves against his hard planes, fitting together in a way that felt inevitable. When they finally broke apart, they were both breathing hard. She couldn't finish the sentence. Yeah. His thumb traced her lower lip. I've been wanting to do that for weeks. Weeks? Since you lectured me about fenestration patterns with a coffee stain on your shirt. His smile was boyish, transforming his stern features. You have no idea how attractive competence is. I'm a mess, Thorne. I eat ramen for dinner. I can't remember the last time I could buy coffee without checking my account balance. I'm not... Stop. His voice was firm. You're brilliant and passionate, and you make me excited to come to work. You make me want to be better. His dark eyes held hers. I'd like to take you to dinner, a real date, if that's something you'd want. She thought about playing it safe, about all the reasons this was a bad idea. Then she thought about his hand on her waist, about the way he'd listened to her for an hour without checking his phone, about the chandelier waiting to be restored. Yes, she heard herself say. I'd like that. His relieved exhale made her smile. Thank God. I've been trying to work up the courage for 2 weeks. You? You're the CEO who bought an unsellable chandelier. Business deals are easy. Asking out a woman I'm terrified of screwing things up with. He shook his head. Terrifying. She laughed, and he kissed her again. Slower this time, deeper. His hands mapped her curves through her clothes. Tentative but appreciative. Like he was memorizing her shape. Like her softness was something to be savored rather than hidden. When his palm settled on her hip, fingers spread wide across her soft stomach, she tensed. He felt it immediately. Is this okay? I'm not what you're probably used to. His brow furrowed. What do you mean? Thorne, she gestured at herself. Look at me. I'm not exactly beautiful. He cut her off. Fascinating, sexy as hell. She blinked. What? Margot, I don't know what you see when you look in the mirror, but I see a gorgeous woman who's somehow convinced herself she's not. His hand tightened on her hip. Can I tell you what I see? I dash. I see soft curves I want to get my hands on. A brilliant mind I want to spend hours talking to. A mouth I can't stop thinking about kissing. His voice dropped lower. I see a woman I want to take to bed and prove exactly how attractive I find her. Heat flooded her body. Thorne, too much? No, just unexpected, then expected, because I'm planning on this working out. His smile was devastating. I told you, I know what I want. And I want you. The first date, Margot changed her outfit 4 times. The cobalt blue dress she finally settled on had been a splurge from 2 years ago, still with tags on. It hugged her curves, her full hips, her soft stomach, her generous chest, in a way that made her feel simultaneously sexy and exposed. Elena had come over to help with makeup. You look incredible, she'd said, stepping back to admire her work. I look like I'm trying too hard. You look like a woman going on a date with a man she's falling for, which is exactly what you are. Elena squeezed her shoulder. Own it, babe. Now, walking toward Thorne's truck, watching his expression as he saw her, Margot felt something shift. His face did something that made her glad for the railing she was gripping. Margot, the way he said her name, low, appreciative, hungry, sent shivers down her spine. You look, I don't have words. Thank you. She tried for casual, failed spectacularly. You clean up well yourself. He was in dark jeans and a charcoal sweater that stretched across his shoulders and chest in ways that should be illegal. When he opened the truck door for her, his hand settled on the small of her back, and she felt the touch like a brand. The restaurant was perfect. Intimate lighting, exposed brick, casual elegance, but Margot barely noticed the decor. She was too caught up in the man across from her. Tell me something I don't know about you, he said after they'd ordered. That's dangerous. I like danger. So she told him about wanting to be an archaeologist, about pivoting to architectural history, about her mother's disappointment that she hadn't chosen something more practical. My parents wanted me to have a real job too, Thorne said. Took me years to figure out I could build things and run a business. Is that why you started the company? Partially. Mostly I was tired of working for people who didn't care about quality. He leaned forward. I wanted to prove you could be successful, and still do things right. As they talked about his grandfather, about her graduate school dreams, about movies and pizza toppings and everything and nothing, Margot felt herself relaxing. He was easy to talk to, easy to be with. He didn't make her feel like she needed to be smaller or quieter or less. When his knee bumped hers under the table and stayed there, warm and solid, she didn't pull away. "Can I ask about your marriage?" she ventured. "It's fair. We should be honest." He set down his fork. "We married young. Too young. I was 24, building my company. She was 22. We thought we wanted the same things." He paused. "We didn't." What did she want? "Everything. Travel, excitement, social life. I wanted." He gestured vaguely. "Small town life, building things, coming home to the same person every night." His smile was sad. She felt trapped. I felt abandoned. "I'm sorry." "Don't be. It taught me what I need." His eyes found hers. "I need someone who understands work matters to me, who has their own passions, who doesn't need constant entertainment." That sounds lonely. It was. He reached across the table, his large hand engulfing hers. "Then I met a woman who breaks into buildings and gets excited about fenestration patterns." She laughed. "That woman sounds like a nerd." She is. It's one of my favorite things about her. When the check came, she reached for it automatically. His hand covered hers. "I've got this." Thorn dash dash. "Margot." There was that command in his voice. "I asked you out. I'm paying. That's not negotiable." "That's very old-fashioned." "Call it me wanting to take care of you." His eyes held hers. "Let me do this, please." She relented, and part of her, the part that had been lonely for too long, felt cared for in a way she hadn't experienced in years. Walking back, when she shivered, he draped his jacket around her without a word. It smelled like him and was enormous on her frame, and she wanted to wrap herself in it forever. "I had a really nice time," she said at her building. "Just nice?" He stepped closer. "Okay, really nice. Possibly the best date I've had in ever." "Good." He cupped her face, his palm warm against her cheek. "Because I'd like to do it again. Soon." "How soon?" "Tomorrow?" She laughed. "I have plans. Elena's dragging me to a gallery." "Sunday, then." "Historical preservation lecture at the university. I got tickets." Her heart stuttered. "You got tickets to an academic lecture. For a date. I know what you like." His thumb brushed her lower lip. "Is that a yes?" "That's a yes." He kissed her then slowly, carefully, like she was something precious. When she rose on her toes to meet him, his arm came around her waist, pulling her against his solid frame. Her soft curves pressed against his hard planes, and she felt him make a sound low in his throat. The kiss deepened. His hand slid up her back, fingers spreading wide, holding her close, her hands tangled in his hair, careful of his horns. And when they finally broke apart, they were both breathing hard. "I should go," he murmured against her hair, though his arms tightened around her. "Before I forget, I'm trying to be a gentleman." "What if I don't want you to be a gentleman?" His groan was pained. "Margot, you're killing me." "Is that a yes or a no?" "It's a, I want to do this right." He pulled back enough to meet her eyes. "I want you to be sure. I want you to know this isn't just physical for me." "What if it's both?" "Then we take it slow. We build something that lasts." His expression was intense. "I'm done with relationships that burn bright and fast. I want something sustainable, something real." She understood. He'd been hurt. She'd been hurt. They both knew the cost of rushing. "Okay," she whispered. "We'll take it slow." "Thank you." He kissed her forehead, gentle and sweet. "I'll see you Sunday." "Sunday." She watched him walk back to his truck, and when he looked back to find her still there, his smile was bright enough to light the entire street. Inside, she leaned against her door and let herself feel everything. Her phone buzzed, already counting the hours until Sunday. "Thank you for tonight. Thank you for the chandelier. And for seeing me. I see you, Margot Chen. All of you. And I like what I see." She smiled, pressing the phone to her chest, and let herself believe it might be true. 6 weeks later, breaking down walls. The envelope arrived on a Tuesday, and Olivia knew what it was before opening it. $847 per month. Minimum payment on her $153,000 debt. The numbers swam before her eyes. Even with consulting work, even with her raises, she couldn't sustain it. She'd have to give up her apartment, take a third job. or dash, or admit defeat, move home, give up everything she'd been building. She'd be 60 years old before this debt was paid off. 60, if she kept making minimum payments and never missed one. The weight of those numbers pressed down on her chest until she couldn't breathe. When Thorne called for their evening check-in, she almost didn't answer. What's wrong? No preamble. He knew her too well, she told him. About the letter, the $153,000 hanging over her head, the $847 monthly payment, the impossible math, the fear that she'd have to give up everything she'd been building. I'll help, he said immediately. No, her response was sharp. Absolutely not. Olivia -- Thorne, I can't let you pay my loans. That's not what this relationship is. I'm not offering to pay them off. I'm offering to help with the monthly payment, just until you're more stable. And what does that make me? Her voice broke. What does that make us? If we break up and I've let you support me, is that what you think this is? His voice was hurt. Temporary? I don't know what this is. We've been together 6 weeks. 6 weeks where you've become the best part of my day. 6 weeks where I've been imagining a future with you. He paused. I love you, Olivia. I'm in love with you. The words hung in the air. Thorne -- You don't have to say it back. I'm just asking you to let me in. Let me help. I'm scared, she whispered. I know, I'm scared too, but I'm more scared of losing you because you're too proud to ask for help. It's not pride, it's self-preservation. Every relationship I've had ended with me feeling like I wasn't enough. She took a shaky breath. And now I have $153,000 in debt hanging over my head. What kind of future can I offer anyone? What if you wake up one day and realize you're tied to someone who's drowning financially? You're not drowning. You're swimming upstream in a system designed to keep you under. His voice was fierce. You're not a failure because you have student debt, Olivia. You're a victim of predatory lending and an economy that's rigged against people like you. And you're more than enough. You're everything. They talked for hours, working out details, calming fears. By the end, something had shifted. I love you too, she finally said. I'm terrified of it, but I do. His exhale was pure relief. Then let me do this, please. She agreed, not because she was weak, but because sometimes strength meant accepting help. Sometimes it meant letting yourself be loved. The next evening, first time, when Thorne arrived at her apartment, she met him at the door in a soft dress that made her feel beautiful instead of self-conscious. His eyes darkened immediately. Olivia, come in. They talked over dinner, about his week, about her mother's latest concerns, about everything except the tension crackling between them. After they cleaned up, curled together on her couch, his hand playing with her hair, she turned to face him. Stay tonight. Olivia -- Please. I'm so sure. His resistance crumbled. Okay, but we go slow. Slow went out the window the moment his mouth found hers. They made it to her bedroom in a tangle of limbs and gasping kisses. When he pulled back to look at her, his eyes were dark with want. You're beautiful, he said, fingers tracing the geometric tattoo on her arm. Every part of you. She wanted to argue, to list all the reasons she wasn't, but he silenced her with a kiss. Let me show you, he murmured against her mouth. Let me show you how I see you. He did, with hands and mouth, and whispered words that made her believe, maybe for the first time, that she was enough, more than enough. When he traced her curves with reverent touches, when he mapped her soft stomach with gentle kisses, when he made her feel worshipped instead of tolerated, she finally understood. This was what it felt like to be chosen. Not despite who she was, because of who she was. I love you, she gasped as they moved together, his large body covering hers, making her feel small and safe and desired all at once. I love you, he growled back, every soft, perfect part of you. Afterwards, wrapped in her sheets with his arms around her, Olivia felt something settle in her chest. Certainty. Still think this is impractical, he murmured. Completely impractical. Definitely a mistake. He laughed, pulling her closer. Good thing you're so practical. To balance me out. They fell asleep tangled together, building something that felt bigger than both of them. 3 months later, public declaration. The Morrison Building's grand reopening was everything Olivia had dreamed. She stood in the center of the restored ballroom, in a dress she could finally afford, feeling proud and terrified and overwhelmed. You did it, Elena said, handing her champagne. We did it. Olivia, Take the credit. This was your vision. She allowed herself pride. The building was perfect. When she finally spotted Thorne across the room, their eyes met, and his smile was just for her. The mayor cornered her for photos. Then Elena pulled her aside. When is he going to propose? What? Come on. The man looks at you like you hung the moon. It's coming. Elena, mark my words, before the end of the night. She was wrong. It was before the end of the hour. Thorne pulled her onto the dance floor, his hand settling on her waist, and they moved together. I have something to tell you, he said. Good or bad, depends on your perspective. He told her about the Millbrook project, about insisting they hire her as consultant, about the portfolio he'd created without her knowledge. You got me a job? You earned it. I just made the introduction. He spun her. It's good money, too. He named a figure that made her dizzy. That's more than my society salary. You're worth it. He was guiding them toward the windows now, away from the crowd, because there's something else. Her heart started pounding. Thorne dash dash? I know it's fast. I know we've only been together 9 months. He stopped dancing, but I don't want to wait. I want to spend every day making you laugh, every night falling asleep beside you. He was reaching into his pocket. I know you worry about being practical, so here are the facts. I love you. I'm committed to you. I want to build a life with you. His voice cracked. I want everything with you, Olivia Madison. The ring box opened. A sapphire surrounded by diamonds in a Victorian setting. So here's my important question. Will you marry me? The ballroom had gone quiet. The chandeliers sparkled overhead. This man who saw her completely and loved her anyway. Yes, she whispered. Yes. He slipped the ring on her finger, and it fit perfectly. How did you know my size? I borrowed one of your rings 6 months ago. 6 months? She laughed through tears. You've been planning this since the day you lectured me about fenestration. He kissed her, deep and thorough. I told you. I know what I want. Around them, applause erupted. But Olivia only heard him. Take me home, she asked. Ours or mine? Ours. She smiled. I like the sound of that. So do I. They walked out together, leaving their perfect restoration behind. They had a new project now, building a life. And like the Morrison building, it would be worth every careful, patient effort. The end, some things are worth preserving. Some things are worth fighting for. And some things, like love, like the courage to say yes, are worth building from the ground up.